Hi, friends. Welcome to Coffee Break with Dr. Michele Alignay. It's another week to discuss about family life, relationships, well-being, and even our faith. So join me this afternoon. Join me for another insightful conversation that I hope that can bring you realizations and even actions for us to be better in our relationships and even ourselves. So why don't you just join me and share this to family and friends as we talk about something that I believe lahat tayo pinagdaanan natin yon. Ang tawag doon ay relationship conflicts, di ba? So, hello to everybody who's here already this afternoon who are watching live. So, maaga si Yeng at saka si Mia Bueno. Salamat. At saka si Ami. Yan talagang mga tatlong yan. Consistent, walang mintis. Okay, so good afternoon. Good afternoon, friends. Simulan na natin. Huwag na natin paligoy-ligoy. Ang tanong ko sa inyo, kumusta ang inyong long weekend? Nakapahinga ba tayo? How have we been? Did we spend enough time to rest and recharge and even to pray for our bereaved family members? Ako, honestly, anong ginawa niyong favorite nitong nakaraang long weekend? Ako, masasagot ko, wala akong ginawa. Ginawa ko, naghalaman. I made my own soaps. I do that as my craft. And then, to spend time hanging out with family and family. Yeah, with family. And that's it. And then that's the most amazing thing na nangyari. Yung minsan wala tayong gagawin. No concrete plans. Just to be with each other. But if you notice, we can be very deliberate in our family life. We can always be deliberate. But kahit anong deliberate natin sa pamilya, sa mga, making memories with our family, doing this for our kids, dating our husband, relationship conflicts happen. Tama ba? Taas ang kamay na nagkaroon na ng conflict sa family. Press hard if you agree. Press that. O, gusto niyo sabihin niyo, me, ganyan. Sabi niya, at tama ba ang tanong ko? Sino sa inyo ang nagka-conflict na with a family or a loved one? Or ang dapat pang tanong, sino ang hindi nagkaroon ng conflict? Kasi conflict is really part of relationship. I believe that we can never grow without conflict. Our family life is gonna be boring. Imagine kung hindi ka man lang nakikipagtalo. Or paano tayo mag-grow? Paano tayo mag-evolve as individuals? How will we grow together as a family? Try to think about that. So ayan, may nagtaas na ng kamay. Thank you, Yeng. Totoo yan. Because when we look at conflict, we always see it as away. Diba? Friends, honestly, aside from away, can you tell me the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word conflict? So ito, nakita nyo, our topic is relationship conflicts and self-esteem. Ayan, ang lalim, diba? But when you hear the word conflict, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Or what's the first emotion that gets to you when you hear or when you read the word conflict? When you encounter it, what's the first thing that comes to you? Or what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Diba? Magandang pag-isipan, maganda rin pag-aralan natin. So that's the topic that we're going to have for the next 30 minutes. So join me. So intayin natin yung sagot ng nakakarami. Ano ba yung sa disagreements? Mary Jane Castillo, sabi niya normal lang. Si Yeng Flor, disagreements, agree. Imelda, natural misunderstanding between persons. Kathy, ako pero mahina sa arguments. Yeah. Hi, Chayap. How are you? Stress. Miss Ami, argue. Talaga naman. Yeah. All these things were not excuse, right? I like what you're saying, Yang. Different disagreements due to differences of opinions. Totoo yan. Marizel, iba na yan. Anger. Kasi pwede naman na may conflict pero pwedeng walang anger. Pwede ba yon? Sa tingin nyo, pwede yon? Pwede ba yon? May conflict pero walang anger. Pwede. Pwede naman magkaroon ng hindi pagkakaunawaan, nagkainisan, communication, different outlook and opinion. Sino to? Stephen Lovely, you look fresh, thank you. And then misunderstanding. So pwede naman, di ba, na merong miscommunication, pwedeng may disagreements, pero walang away, walang anger. So if you look at it, conflicts are part of relationships. Can you all say with me, conflicts? May nagsabi nandito kanina. May nagsabi na dito kanina, conflicts are normal. Totoo yan. I would agree that conflicts are normal. Nakakatuwa naman mga comment nyo. Kami makeup ko lang kaya ako mukhang fresh. Walang bahid ng stress? Meron din. Magaling lang tayong magdala and that's the key. Pag pinited ang pamilya. So, yeah, the conflicts are part of relationships. Can you all type that in the comment section? Conflicts are normal. Ay, gusto ko yan si Ma'am J. Ma'am J, you're saying J and Nef Tolentino, you're saying that depends on the person's emotional state, and then that's what we're going to look into. Una-una, let's try to look at the concepts that we would like to realize. One, conflicts are part of relationship. Kasama na yan sa relasyon, kasama na yan sa buhay pamilya. A family can never grow without conflict. Diba? So conflicts are really normal. Conflicts are part of the relationship. So, pag sinabi natin na sana wala ng conflict sa pamilya, it's just like saying na sana hindi na tayo humihinga. Kasi how can you communicate if there's no conflict? There's no way for you to test the strength, the resiliency, and the faith life, and even the communication of the family. Yung closeness ng family, hindi yan matitest sa saya lang. Yan ay mas matitest sa conflict. So, if looking at it, it's about, so number one, conflicts are part of relationship. Number two, concept. It's about resolving conflicts healthily. So the key here is not about conflicts, just, being conflicts. Isang dekada na may away pa rin. No, it's not about that. But the goal here is that we need to learn how to deal with conflict healthily. You're saying, Berlin, it's normal, pero depende how to deal with na we can choose how we deal with it. So, di ba nga, as I always share with you, it's not about what happens in life, but how we choose to respond to it. Same with conflict. Conflicts may happen, it may be normal, but it's upon us also, and it depends upon us how we deal with it. I was just looking at this. It's not normal. Healthy if there's no conflict. Hindi healthy ang pamilya kung walang conflict. Honestly, hindi healthy ang pamilya kung walang conflict. Kasi, ibig sabihin, hindi kayo nag-uusap. Ibig sabihin, kahit ano man yung ulam nyo, you're not just have a misunderstanding is a conflict. Maliit lang yan. Pero I think kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng we make it a big deal sometimes when we see conflict as the big ones, major away, and then there's really dispute, there's really major disagreement, and then there's animosity in the family. But let's look at conflict that even the little misunderstanding, kumbaga yan yung grade 1 levels. So pag yung from the range of grade 1, K to 12, kinder yung maliliit lang na away, and then hanggang 12, yung grade 12, ito na yung yung you want to throw them out of the house already, or talagang meron ng hindi pagkakaunawaan, ng layas na, hindi na nag-uusap, and that's the result of, it's just not about the conflict, it's the result of, it's not the result, but it's the bigger picture of a crisis, actually. So it's about resolving conflicts healthily. Another thing that we would need to reflect upon, the aim of when we encounter conflicts, friends, sino dito yung mga open? Sabihin nyo nga dyan kung ano yung madalas nyo na nagiging source of conflict sa pamilya. Can you put there in your comment section? Can you put there in the comment section? Can you put there in the comment section what's the major, not the major, but what are the common? Yung bang minsan mag-aaway lang sa oras, mag-aaway lang sa magkaiba yung diskarte. So ano yung madalas ng pagmulan ng argument in the family? Can you put there in the comment section? So, what our aim, no matter what conflicts we have, small, kinder, grade 1, 2, 3, ayan, yang, opinion on things, we aim to improve, grow, and evolve from it. So, the goal is hindi kung sino yung mananalo, hindi kung sino yung tama. Pag nagkaroon ng misunderstandings, the goal here is that, ay, paano tayo mag-grow as a family dito? Okay, nagkaroon tayo ng hindi pagkakaunawaan. So, what can we learn from this? What do we need to do about it? And how can we work together to resolve it? Hindi ba? So, yan, ito nyo, opinion on things. Money. Making a decision on stuff. Different style, different aspects. Totoo yan kasi lahat tayo iba-iba. Opinions. When parents are not consistent with rules, when they don't practice what they say, yeah, walking your talk, sabi nga, marriage and responsibility. When looking at all this, friends, the aim of every conflict, tandaan natin, it's for us not to dissolve the conflict. Kasi pwede mo naman na, pag hindi mo na pinansin, yung iba, feeling nila wala nang away. Kasi hindi na sila nagpansinan. Nandun pa rin yung conflict, hindi mo lang ni-resolve. Another thing, that's why the aim of any conflict, you remember it, it's not bad. But it's opportunity for the family to grow, to improve, maybe improve some patterns, improve some ways, improve their dynamics, and evolve from the situation. When you say evolve, ay, nangyari na sa atin yan dati, dapat hindi na natin gawin kasi natuto na tayo. Kumbaga, yung pre-pandemic way nyo to resolve conflict, maybe dati, madaling mag-walk out, madaling magpunta ng mall, ay, aalis na lang muna ako. It can happen. Pero ngayon, pwede mo bang sabihin yun, hindi ka nga basta-basta makalabas. And then wala ka naman transpo palabas ngayon, ang hirap, di ba? So, hindi automatic na yun yung gagawin natin because we have to evolve from it. So now, what do we need to do about it? So you just recall, we aim to grow from any conflict. Can you say that conflicts can help us grow? Can you put that in the comment section? So, another area that I want to look into, the fourth one, arguments or disagreements are means to surface differences. So pag may ayan, Yang, yung sinasabi mong make a decision on stuff, saka sinage, different style, yung sinasabing different stroke from different folks, tandaan natin, one size does not fits all. Hindi porke ito yung principle sa pamilya, lahat pare-pareho ng applicability. Hindi porke galing tayo sa isang magulang, pare-pareho na yung way at ng perception natin sa mga bagay. Kaya iba-iba rin tayo, dahil iba-iba rin ang personality, kaya nagkakaroon ng conflict because it's a means to surface our individuality and it's a means to surface our differences. And isn't it nice that there's differences in the family? Imagine a family that pare-pareho lang ang desisyon. Or a family na they do not argue. Hindi sila nag-argue kung ano. Hindi na lang sila nagpapansinan or oo na lang ng oo. So, is there a room to grow? Maybe one person or two person only, the dominant personalities in the family will grow. But what about the others? They are just passive. They're just passive. They're not really saying anything. So arguments and disagreements are means to surface differences. And when the differences, pagkakaiba, when they surface, it does not mean that they're bad. It means that you just need to continuously retool na, okay, iba yung opinion mo, iba yung discount mo eh. Continuously retool ourselves na, okay, it's not meeting halfway, but we will be able to respect each other's differences, and we will be able to agree to disagree. Or we will be able to learn, ay, oo nga no, okay naman pala yung diskarte mo. So there's respect already. There's respect and yan yung way natin Sabi, it's the way to be a bigger person also. You knowing that differences. And imagine if it's not gonna be the same, it's gonna be boring. Life will be very boring. Kaya tayo magkakaiba. So, anytime that you would have a misunderstanding, you think of it, yes, this may be an opportunity to grow. Hanapin natin yung seed of growth in that misunderstanding. Okay, but there's another area that I would like to discuss with you. The fifth area, and this is very common among Pinoy families. And what is this? Meron ako nakita dito kanina. Ang sabi, let me just hi, Sis Lane. Yeah, conflicts can help us grow. Meron nagsabi earlier, some just avoid conflicts because they don't want fights or the partner can handle it. The partner can't handle it. Yan yung pinakamagandang meat ng pag-uusapan natin. Because the fifth area that I would like you to look into, we have this tendency, we have this culture. We have this culture that para walang away. Sino sa inyo yung narinig na yan? Narinig natin sa magulang natin, ibigay mo na para walang away. I remember before, my mom would be, pag nagsasagutan, sasabihin ng mami niya, ayaw niya namin nag-aaway, ayaw niya namin nagkasagutan. My mom would be very like that. But at the end of the day, it's good if you know how to negotiate properly because conflict can bring out also negotiation skills that is very critical. But the thing is, when we have conflict, it doesn't mean that we be mum about it. The problem happens when we want to keep peace at all costs. Ano yung ibig sabihin? Keep peace at all costs. Na kahit na may mali ng paraan, ay nako, para wala na lang conflict, I will not rock the boat. 'Di ba? Narinig niyo na ba 'yon? Do not rock the boat. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin kasi baka tumaas yung blood pressure ng family member, baka masama lalo siyang magkasakit, baka magkaroon na lalong ma-depress. It's good, but it's becoming dysfunctional because keeping the peace or not managing the issue is not healthy in the long run. And that is where a lot of problems happen. Actually, in the Pinoy family, hindi tayo sanay ng sinasurface ang conflicts. Kaya nga, in my terms, ngayong pandemic na most of us nasa bahay, yung mga itinago sa pantry, sa storage, lalo na yung mga nasa cabinet lang at sa ilalim ng kama na conflict, na inis, na meron ng issue pero hindi natin hinaharap, they are surfaced. Kaya if you realize, many of the problems in the pandemic are not really pandemic in nature, but they are already issues, even pre-pandemic, that we do not really disclose. Hindi natin inopen yung sarili natin, we did not talk about it, or we did not manage, or we did not confront. Ayaw nating harapin. Marami yan. Para sa kanila, hindi naman problema yan. Dinidismiss nila. Pero alam nyo, minsan, we have this attitude na hindi okay lang yan. That okay lang yan attitude, before we know it, it becomes a full-bloated crisis. A conflict need not be a crisis. Yung kumbaga sa triangle, yung crisis yung nandito sa taas. Yung conflict bandang gitna. Yung everyday problems, everyday irritation, nasa baba lang yan. So in that pyramid, meron kasing theory ng conflict theory. In that pyramid, pag dumating na yan sa pinakatuktok na crisis na, so ito na yung depression, ito na yung hiwalayan, ito na yung hindi na talaga nagkikibuan, meron ng legal settlement, crisis na yan. Kasi dun pa lang sa baba, in our everyday dealings as a family, we agree to disagree, we learn to respect each other, and we learn the communication and the negotiation skills that are needed. Kaya, keeping the peace at all costs is not a healthy way to really, it's not managing conflict. It's just a band-aid technique para mukhang walang away, pero may issue. Okay? But what does, let me continue. I think I'm going beyond 2 o'clock today, but let's hear about this. Conflicts are a way also if you would like to reflect on this, conflicts are a way also to check our own self-esteem and to check the self-esteem of the people around us. Nako, napaka-critical nito, friends. Kapit tayo sa pagdadasal. Sana wag tayong mapuputol. Because conflicts show one's self-esteem. Actually, if you try to recall, pag yung may mga hindi tayo nakapalagayan loob at meron tayong mga naging conflict or tayo mismo na inis, it confronts us of our worth. It confronts us also of who we are. So it confronts us also of our self-worth and our self-esteem. Friends, uh, I would like to invite you to think. Is there an occasion that you feel that you're because of a certain issue or a conflict that happened in your life, talagang yung buong pagkatao mo na yanig. Ako marami ako niyan last year. This year I have thank God, medyo napahinga naman ako dyan, di ba? But conflict shows our self-esteem. Some of us become passive, oo lang ng oo. Another one, we become aggressive. You know what aggressive means, right? Doon yung nilalabas yung galit, para lang ma-stress ko na ako yung tama. I will show this. So aggressive. Another one is but the healthier way, passive, and yung tinatawag na passive aggressive, it's never gonna be healthy. But what is healthy is that we become assertive. Assertive is that we are sharing our peace, we are disclosing ourselves because we would like to work out solution. Contrary to being aggressive. Ang aggressive, sasabihin ko to kasi galit ako. It's all about me. But assertive, sabihin ko to, this is my boundary, but I would want us to work on solutions. Ang aggressive, pakabig, akin lang. Aggressive nga eh. Pero, at all cost, walang pakialam. Pero ang assertive, I'm just putting it out here for us to collaborate. There's a different intention in this too. Yan, you're saying you're the aggressive one, but look into it. Look into it. San ka dito? Baka assertive ka, hindi ka aggressive. And you in all these conflicts, checking our self-esteem, it also checks our communicative nature. So, kaya ba natin mag-open? Kaya ba natin makipag-usap ng maayos? You know what I've realized? Marami sa atin pag nakapag-usap out of galit, marami rin sa atin ang common mistake is ayaw natin pag-usapan yung issue at minsan naman yung iba pag nakipag-usap, we become so emotional. Bakit? Tingnan natin, ano ba yung ating state? Ano ba yung self-esteem? So here, how to handle in an article, how to handle conflicts effectively by Darlene Lancer in Psychology Today. You read about how to handle conflicts effectively. She pointed out that the connection between conflicts and self-esteem. And I would just, identify some of these points with you. So, if you look at yourself, huwag natin isipin yung mga ibang tao. Huwag natin isipin yung ibang tao. But if you would recall that moment in your life na tayo ang nagkaroon ng conflict with someone, let's recall how it did to us. Having low self-esteem, yung tinatawag natin self-worth also. And in the language of family studies, the one I teach, there's this thing called self-differentiation. Kung natandaan nyo, I think I handled this topic way back about self-esteem and self-worth also. Yung the differentiated self na sinasabi ko, kaya ba nating maging rational? Maging rational, I mean, are we able to think rationally? Despite conflict, despite high-strung emotion, we are able to think clearly in the head and to feel and access our emotion. And alam natin kung ano dyan yung nararamdaman natin dun sa naiisip natin. And we can make healthy decisions on our end and our rational with a good decision. Remember the eggs. Remember the eggs, the family in the sunny side up, the sunny side up egg, or the scrambled egg or the hard-boiled eggs. A person, a family that has good self-esteem for all are the family who are in this kind of sunny side up mentality because their identities are intact. Kahit na mag-away-away sila, andun pa rin yung kanilang self-worth. And titingnan natin, kung tayo, parang pag tayo nagkaroon ng conflict, sinisisi natin lahat sa sarili natin. Or we tend to blame other people. Is our self-worth is connected to conflicts. And the first thing is that, do we tend to take things personally? Ayan, pinipersonal mo. Sometimes we need to differentiate. Diba in the Bible, it says, hate the sin, but not the sinner. Same with conflicts. We look at the conflict, but not the people in the conflict. Ibig sabihin, we don't take things personally. Kasi pag nagkaroon naman ng conflict, it's not about us being less competent. Kaya people with very low self-esteem or very low self-differentiation, they always run into conflict. Kasi feeling nila lahat ng reklamo sa bahay, lahat ng mali sa kanila sinisisi because everything pinapersonal nila. Maraming ganyan. Tingnan niyo sa social media natin. Tingnan niyo sa politika. Ang daming ganyan. And then that's taking things personally. Another one, defensiveness, di ba? In any conflict situation, the goal is for us to work on solution. Ito yung kung lulusot at lulusot. But there are people who keep defending. Kasi ginawa mo to sa akin eh. Kasi they keep blaming and then they keep pointing fingers. And so they defend themselves because their ego is being shaken. Nawawala sabi nila, yung parang iniriyurakan yung pagkatao nila. Kumbaga kung sa Tagalog, ang pikon ay laging talo. But honestly, it's a manifestation of low self-esteem because we are there in this conflict situation. Hindi naman natin, sino bang ginustong makipag-away o magkaroon ng issue? So here, in any conflict situation, if the person is always defensive, is always trying to make excuses for here to defend himself at hindi makita na meron siyang mababang pagpapahalaga sa sarili. Kasi mabubuking sila. Mabubuking na ay kaya naman pala ang taas ng insecurity or they're really immature in this aspect. So ito yung saan mo makikita kung talagang ang galing ng isang tao. Not in the middle of a triumphant or victorious situation, but we will see the worth of each person in the middle of difficulty and in the middle of conflict situation. How he's able to hold himself despite of the pressure and despite of conflicts. So that's another one. Do they taking things personally? Another is defensiveness, and eto mahirap. Pero meron di ba yung oo na lang ng oo. Para walang conflict, oo ng oo. That's a problem. You know what? Because if a person is unable to express needs and wants, that's a problem. Yun yung tinatawag na passive person. Kasi there's an aggressive person in the family or dominant person in the family na ruling everything. Kaya walang conflict kasi may oo ng oo. May oo lang ng oo. Pag sinabihan mo naman yung taong yan, hindi naman yan magre-react eh. Yes, because yung kanila, para walang away. But is it good? In the long run, it's not, honestly. Because if you're unable to express your needs and wants, after a while, the relationship would eat you up. And you cannot have your sense of self and value to yourself. Kaya nga alam nyo, maraming napupunta sa abusive relationship. And being unable to express one's needs and wants. Hindi mo masabi kung anong kailangan mo or gusto mo na ito yung boundary mo. Hindi mo masabi, you cannot stress your boundary. This is if this is persisting in a relationship, this is a sign of a toxic relationship. And that's another one. And the other one is high reactivity. Nagre-react ba yung tao sa lahat ng sinasabi? Have you encountered that, friends? Yung parang pag ikaw na lang yung nagsabi, lahat nagre-react. Kahit anong sabihin mo, mabuti o magaling sa'yo, nagre-react. kasi may reactions siya sa'yo. Maybe you're rubbing the person off, yun yung sabi. Kaya the conflict is not with the issue, but with the person. So kung meron taong insecure sa'yo in your relationships or in your family, minsan I have a friend who consulted with me. Sabi niya, nagalit siya sa akin all of a sudden with what I said over chat. Sabi ng friend ko sa akin, yung isa niyang friend, gano'n yung nangyari. But imagine, napakalalim naman ng relasyon namin. Hindi ko akalain na para sa simpleng gano'n, papatulan niya. Sabi ko, my dear, baka naman it's not about you. But her being reactive, it's actually her own insecurity. Baka nasa surface yung insecurity and you're the one rubbing the person. He's rubbing them off. Yung galing mo, yung talent mo, o yun lang sabihin natin, yung simpleng sabihin mo, nagre-react na sila. Being highly reactive, it's a sign also of self-worth. Kaya, when we deal with people like this, yeah, I agree with you, Glenda. Sometimes conflict is not with the issue, but with the person. Yes, kaya dealing with people with very low self-esteem, para kang, sabi nga sa Tagalog, para kang nanununtungan sa numero or para tayong tumutulay sa alambre. Yan yung kasabihan ng mga lola, ng matatanda. Because whatever you say or do, there's high reactivity. And another one, people pleasing. That's why connected yung unable to express needs and wants. And if you are the person who's always trying to please people, oo nang oo sa lahat, yes nang yes, we cannot put boundaries kasi baka magalit nakakahiya, baka kung anong sabihin if you would like to please other people, and then you have sometimes to put the brakes on because there might be conflict but you are not putting the brakes on, so you don't allow the conflict to happen. Kaya tuloy-tuloy lang yan. And sometimes, as I said, it becomes abusive. Tapos tayo magre-reklamo, ba't ako napapagod, ba't ako na lang lagi, bakit ganito? Because of that, because we allow people, we just want to please everybody. And another point wherein self-worth and conflicts are connected. We cannot take responsibility for our feelings, our behavior, and action. Maraming taong ganyan. Nako, konektado yan sa sinabi ko sa kaninang defensiveness. I-defend nila yung sarili nila and they cannot take responsibility for what they say, what they do, and even how they feel. They keep projecting themselves to others. Sinabi na isang tao sa'yo, ginalit mo ako Hindi ako magagalit ng ganito kung hindi dahil sa'yo. They are already projecting their anger at you. They're projecting their issues at you. In reality, hindi ka naman issue mo yan, galit mo yan. Sorry, I have to say that. Galit mo yan, hindi yan akin. Hindi kita ginalit, ikaw ang nagalit. That's a good way. Ito yung, we own the emotion. The emotions, we can choose that. Hindi totoong we are swept away by our emotions. We can choose how we respond to an emotion. But sometimes people choose to react to a certain emotion. So, are emotions controllable? We cannot control what emotions flood us, but we can control how we use it. Either we react or we respond. So, if a person cannot take responsibility for his or her own actions, we have a bigger problem there because it affects their behavior, their feelings, and their needs. If they cannot take responsibility for their action, ito yung sa Tagalog sinasabing laging naghuhugas ng kamay. Kailangan natin ngayon maghugas ng kamay dahil lagi na lang yan ang ating health protocol. Pero sa totoo lang, in our relationships, if conflicts happen, sana we know how to take responsibility for our actions because that's a sign of maturity. And lastly, a person with low self-esteem also shows that they have undisclosed expectation of others. Ano ibig ko sabihin nito? Hindi nila sasabi na yun palang ini-expect nila. I always share this with friends. I always share this with talks of our teenagers. In a relationship, do not assume. Because assuming makes, ang asawa ko nagsabi nito nung nanliligaw pa lang siya sa akin. Sabi niya, assume means it makes an ass, A-S-S, of you and me. So, pag inisip mo yon, people, our families, our loved ones, they are not mind readers. So I always tell others, do not assume. Undisclosed assertiveness of others. Don't assume that people will know your needs. What if they overlook it? Don't wait for them to tell you na ano bang gusto mo. Sabihin mo kung ano yung kailangan mo. And undisclosed as expectation of others, ini-expect mo pala na hindi ka nila aasahan. Sana sinabi mo na wag niyo na akong asahan kasi busy ako. People are not mind readers. So if we do not know how to express our needs and we do not really open up through communication what we would like, there will always be conflict. Ito in summary, di ba? Yung bang hindi mo sasabihin yung kailangan mo tas magagalit ka. People are not mind reader. Assume that they know. You have to express yourself. Friends, Haya, you're so cute. My husband tells me that he's not on my readers. Yes, alam nyo, even with husbands, kaya madami tayong conflict. Kasi minsan feeling natin, alam na dapat nila. Pero may mga bagay that we need to spell out to them. So, I hope that this helped you. How can self-esteem and conflict be connected? Look at that. We take things first. Don't. So, gawin natin don't, okay? So, if you are a person struggling with your self-esteem, check your self-esteem kasi baka lahat ng reason for your conflicts, ito yung source. So, don't take things personally. Do not be defensive. Be able to express your needs and wants. Do not be highly reactive, but rather be highly responsive. And do not always try to please people. Put healthy boundaries. That's number 5. And number 6, take responsibility for your behavior, feelings, and needs. And number 8, disclose or open your expectations to others, especially your loved ones. Friends, hindi ko sinabi na pag ginawa niyo lahat to wala ng conflict. May conflict pa rin. And that's the truth. But if you would like to work on your self-esteem, or if you would like to work on the self-esteem of the people that you love, be the one to enable them to boost their self-esteem. When conflicts happen, encourage them to do the 7. Don't take things personally. Do not be defensive, but rather assertive. 3rd, be able to express your needs and wants. 4th, be highly responsive rather than reactive. 5th, do not please people. Put healthy boundaries. 6, take responsibility, behavior, feelings, and needs. And number 7, open up. Share with them your expectations and others. So, if misunderstandings happen, if arguments are around, if conflict is lurking, we can manage it. Hindi ko sinasabing perfecto lahat. Like what I said in my book, embrace the imperfections of family life. Conflicts are a way for us to grow. It's a way for us to grow and to accept each other's differences. And it's a way for us actually to strengthen our relationship. Our relationships in the family can just never be strengthened kung puro pa-cute at lovey-dovey na lang. The more we have conflicts, the more we evolve, the more we grow. Ito favorite ko. The more we mature as adults and the more we become more like Jesus. We have bigger hearts and we expand ourselves to be able to understand each other and to give ourselves better. So that's some friends. Ask you friends. Anyway, na conflict on Thursday, but I would like you to leave this comment. What is your big takeaway today? Ano yung one eureka moment mo in this coffee break session? And while waiting for that, please friends, join us again. Hindi ako magkasawa mag-promote. Join us again for this biggest inspirational event in the country, online this year at the Feast Conference on November 20, 21, and 22. I will be one of the masterclass speakers. I hope that, yes, it's a paid event, but I'm telling you, it's a worthwhile faith and personal investment. And it's an investment for you to grow, to learn in your faith life, in your relationship, in your career, and even in your family life. So I hope that you join me. Please put there in your comments your favorite line or your favorite takeaway today. And I thank you for joining me. I don't need to plug, but let's continue the discussion on Thursday. If you have questions, please put it here in the comment section. And I'll see you again, friends. This is Michelle Alignay for another session of Coffee Break with Dr. Michelle. God bless you all and may you grow in every conflict, misunderstandings, and see you and see you.